Oh my God, it's a quick release with the new QR2 systems. I'm at SimRacing Expo 2022 and I've got a rather nice Red Bull Formula 1 car next to me. Why? Because apparently Formula 1 cars are the thing at SimRacing Expo this year, but also because I am at the Fanatec booth to check out what people have been asking for rather a long time, and that is Fanatec's new QR2 system and also their new Bentley wheel rim. So let's jump into the Rennsport Sim Rig, which has a Assetto Corsa Competition on it, the new Bentley wheel rim, and oh my God, it's a quick release with the new QR2 system. So let's see if it's completely rock solid and how much of a quick release it is. That is my second time sticking it on there. No innuendos or puns, thank you guys. So let's jump in here, let's just see. Before I start driving, let me just put it to the track actually. Fahren, and away we go, there we go. Before I really drive, the old, I weigh quite a lot, and I'm putting my weight on there, lifting myself with the wheel. Push it left and right. That is absolutely, guys, that is absolutely, completely rock solid. And let's just, look at that, absolutely. I'm surprised I'm not breaking it, because you know what I'm like, guys. Really, really nice. I think people will be quite happy with that. Let's just take a little close look at it. So what's interesting is it uses these two bars that then when you pull them down, they sort of slide away and then come back up to they sort of latch onto the divot in the actual wheel rim there, which is different to a lot of quick releases where they have all those little ball bearings. But you can see you'll have a huge contact point with the wheelbase, and it's going to completely latch onto it. So awesome stuff. Also, what's quite interesting, I noticed this, but it's worth saying the wheel rim is still not final and the quick release QR2 is not final. When you put the wheel on here, the wheel actually boots up with this Bentley wheel rim. What's nice as well is, if you remember seeing this wheel rim at last SimRacing Expo, the screen rotates. As you rotate the wheel, the screen rotates to actually keep it central, which is really cool. But last SimRacing Expo, there was like a delay in the image. It didn't quite line up. Whatever, it used some, probably like inertial measurement or something. It didn't quite keep up to date with it. But now you can rotate the wheel really quite quickly, and it stays central much better, which eliminates that thing that you get on a lot of LCD screens on wheel rims, where if you drive Formula cars with the screen on it and you turn it, it's a lot harder to read because the screen's at an angle. So I actually really quite like that, and I would like to see this sort of self-centering screen on Formula wheel rims. I think it's actually a really awesome feature that I'm surprised car manufacturers haven't actually used, or that you just don't see in general. There we go. So as you can see, the display is super duper clear there. You can see what's going on. Now the wheel rim, let's go through the features of the wheel rim. You've got really nice magnetic shifters. You've got double shifters, so you can shift up and down with one hand or bind these to whatever you want. They feel really, really actually solid, the shifter paddles. And then of course you also get the clutch paddles, if that's what you want to do, especially if you're driving Formula cars with this wheel rim, or vehicles where you want to have clutch control from the wheel rim itself. Personally, I'm a bit simple-minded, and I tend to just use the up and down shift. More buttons and shifters for me just breaks my brain. But yeah, it feels, first impressions, and obviously not a final release wheel here, feels really nice and solid. The shifters feel really nice. I would say they've got that sort of intermediate amount of clickiness to them. Decisive, you're not going to miss shift or make any mistakes with them. But you know, one of the things actually going through a lot of the wheel rims at SimRacing Expo, you can see that there's quite a range of strength differences and clickiness differences to the different types of wheel rim. It's going to be down to your personal preference. I think functionally though, like the Asher wheel rims, the cube controls, and this one, they all functionally work really nice, but what you like in terms of itty bitty detail is going to be very personal. In terms of the moulding though, What's quite nice with this wheel rim is it does have a little bit of moulding for your hands, and I do believe that the grip moulding has changed slightly from the version we had briefly a look at last year's SimRacing Expo, and I think it is actually a tiny bit more shapely. I would say though, for me, my personal preference, I actually prefer the Fanatec BMW wheel rim and the way that that fits onto your hand. This wheel rim does have a little bit of a detent where the bottom of your wrist is, so that does allow you to then use that bottom sort of ninja punch, ninja slap to actually deal with stronger force feedback rather than having to grip too tight. But I would like that detent personally to be a little bit bigger. It's going to depend on the size of your hands as to if you like that or not. But the general finger placement and the general feel of that it's really nice. I think you would probably want to be wearing gloves with this rather than being naked due to the Alcantara. I think it's Alcantara, not suede on this. Obviously, any type of fabric wheel over time they're going to start wearing down, and it's not going to be the same as it is brand new. So probably want to wear gloves with this. But I didn't bring any gloves with me, so I can't test that. Now, in terms of the buttons, let's just have a little fiddle here. How loose are the rotary encoders? That's a real question. I'd say they're quite loose. This feels a little bit more resistive than the Fanatec Formula Rim rotary encoders, but this is definitely much more on the loose side. I do see a little screw here though, which maybe you can tighten that to make this like more or less resistive. That'll be interesting to find out and test out. I don't know. That'd be something to check. But with how it is set right now, it's not. I don't think you're going to accidentally rotate it like you would, or like I often would do with the Formula Rim. And so it's a nice, decisive, positive click. Not as satisfying as I think as some of the other wheel rims at SimRacing Expo, but perfectly functional. But it's going to come down to if you can adjust that and if you can make it stronger or weaker, because I think that will really change things. You obviously have one of those on both sides, and actually quite nicely, they're huge and easily to access. So for me, I often use these for like brake bar settings and things that I might change quite often whilst I'm driving or if conditions change. We also have the general buttons on here. These feel exactly the same as other Fanatec buttons that you get on other wheel rims. Quite light, so you're not going to get much finger fatigue. They're not really massively clicky. They sort of feel. It's really hard to describe button pressure. We need some kind of like tool that measures button pressure, but they feel fine. They work as buttons. They're not going to blow you away with button feel, I don't think, but perfectly functional. We also have the ability to rotate dials on the inside of the wheel, and because we've got the screen here, you can look at the screen on the wheel and then you can just quickly see, oh, that's what we're changing ABS there, and it's all nice and clear. It's quite interesting how the text rotates around on the wheel so it stays upright, but that bit lines up with the button, which is cool. And then we can do the engine maps and everything. Really nice. These are actually quite stiff, these buttons, so you're not going to accidentally rotate these, but I think nicely, because they are stiffer, they've put this sort of like pine tree. This is very like Bavarian German forest pine tree texture to it, which allows you to grip it more. More so if you're wearing gloves, this sort of thing really grips onto gloves, but with fingers it's not as grippy, but it does the job. Obviously we have the funky joysticks and all that stuff going on with this that you expect from the Fanatec wheels, that allows you to then adjust and change all the wheel settings or just bind to whatever you want. And I do think that one of the nice things with the Fanatec wheel rims is that ability to very quickly adjust things. And obviously Fanatec as a company do a lot of, they do support for console, the Xbox One, the PlayStation 5, PS4 and PC. And you can, if you've got the Fanatec Podium or you've got the DD Pro, then you've got the support potentially for every single console and PC on the market. So yeah, as a first impressions, I have to say the QR2, I think it looks from this from the little amount of time we've had at SimRacing Expo, it looks like that addresses the problems and issues that a lot of people are having with flex and movement with the quick release, especially if you're running at higher torque with some of their wheelbases. So the quick release 2 looks really, really good. Don't know when it's coming out. Fanatec won't say, We don't know if it's final. And this wheel rim, of course, I think for people that like Bentleys in particular, but people that like driving GT3 cars with larger wheel rims, I think they will really like this as well. We'll have to wait and see what Fanatec actually do with it. They've been very quiet and secretive, have the Fanatec boys and girls. I mean, I've tried my best to get secrets out of them, but they won't divulge them. Lastly though, the last thing to say about the wheel is, of course, I totally missed it because I'm blind. It's got LED lights on the top, which obviously let you know the revs, and then you've got these lights that show the flags. You can use like the Fanatec Fanalab software, or you can even still use fan LEDs, which I use with some games, to then configure this to however you want to. But yeah, there you go, guys. That is our absolute first impressions of the QR2 and the new Bentley wheel from Fanatec. Can't wait for more details, can't wait for the price, but thanks for watching this. Huge thanks to the legend, the most beautiful Lawrence de Soa, as our cameraman for this video. Make sure to check out his channel. But until the next one, subscribe, like, happy tea drinking, and goodbye, guys.